Grand Rising. Thank you for joining us for another Wednesday edition of the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naima Latif, and on Wednesdays, we talk about reconnecting the family. And of course, we've taken a look at how our families are the foundation of everything: our economy, our social structure, our well being. Well, we're going to need to expand our family connections in these coming times as many people face food insecurity. There's some panic going on among some segments of the population that may have been receiving SNAP benefits. SNAP, of course, is the government program that allows people to get groceries. It's a supplemental form that allows people to eat if they don't have sufficient income. Well, an announcement was made that the SNAP program is going to end as of November 1st. And this created quite a fear among those who depend on this program for their food supplements, for their groceries, for their regular diet. How am I going to eat? Many people worry. Well, this presents an opportunity for us to consider the power that we have in our own hands. Now, let me ask you this. Do you have a yard, front yard, backyard, where you're growing a beautiful lawn? And many do. You have a beautiful lawn, and you keep it nice and green and watered and everything. Now, let me ask you this question. Do you have a cow in your yard that you're living with and is regularly enjoying the grass? You don't? Okay, so why are you growing in your yard food for someone who doesn't eat grass? If you don't have anyone who's eating grass living with you, why are you using the ground to grow it? Yes, it's pretty, but it's not practical. So we want to take a look at changing the mindset of people who have been conditioned to be helpless and dependent when they have the power to grow their own food. And they also have the power to create systems where they can distribute that food to those who need it. There are organizations who gather and store food in pantries and can distribute it to those who really don't have a means to take care of themselves. But those of us who do need to be about the business of becoming self-empowering. And so today, our guests are going to discuss what they have been doing to empower themselves, to feed themselves and feed others, so that we can all follow suit, because we are not helpless. And this was a wake-up call for us to grow up and become the self-sufficient people that we used to be when we lived on land. And we'll find out how you can even grow food if you live in an apartment. So we'll be back with our guests after this greeting to our viewers. And if you'd like to join this conversation, just write in your comments, or you can give us a call, 727-731-5192, because we want to hear from you. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution.
Yes, this is the Female Solution. We've got some females and some males with a solution. And we're so grateful to be joined by our guests today, who are going to demonstrate how we can all work together and we are not helpless in this situation. So we invite you all to share this video with anybody and everybody who is afraid, who is living the sense of food insecurity and is panicking because they know benefits, because we are all a benefit to each other. So, first, let me introduce Danielle Perry, who works with the Chicago Food Depository and gave us some great insight about how the system works, and also gave us an opportunity to learn more about the power that we can collectively have when we petition our government to do that which is in our benefit. So we want to thank you, Danielle, for joining us today and presenting some solutions, and also reminding us of what we already have that is working. Thank you so much. Now, one of the things that I wanted to address, because a lot of people are not aware of what exists. And so we really need systems of communicating. And of course, we're grateful here on the Female Solution every day of the week, 7 days a week, we're bringing information. And our own Monday Morning Mindfulness host, Zelda, is with us. Zelda speaks every Monday. And today she's going to, for those who are living in an apartment, explain that some of the technology that makes it possible for you to grow food year round indoors. And this is for those who think that they've missed out if they happen to live in an apartment building. And then joining us is an urban farmer that we need to know, because one of the things that people in the cities have lost is the skill for being able to grow food and feed their families, something that we used to do when we lived down south. Before we bring on Stephon, I'd like to get some insight from you, Danielle. Give us a bit about your background and the work that you've done first in the urban food growing arena, and then what the Chicago Food Depository does for those who are needing food. Give us a bit of background.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me join this conversation. I appreciate the time and the opportunity. Again, Danielle Perry. I'm the Vice President of Policy, Advocacy, and Community Engagement at the Greater Chicago Food Depository. I have joined the Food Depository just this year, but I do have a background and experience in food and agriculture. I was an Obama appointee in the Department of Agriculture in the last administration. I worked in the Office of Civil Rights, worked on equity and policy around civil rights and agriculture, supporting Black farmers, Latino farmers, Native American farmers. Also ran a community and school garden initiative in communities that have severe food insecurity, and worked on civil rights just generally in the federal government. After that experience, my life, I always say, took an agricultural turn. I ended up becoming executive director of Growing Home right in Englewood. Growing Home is a certified organic USDA farm right in Chicago, the only certified organic USDA farm. And it's also a workforce development nonprofit. It helps people, mostly who are formerly incarcerated, get back into the workforce by having experience working on the farm. They sell produce all across Chicago at farmers markets and in Englewood. And I had the pleasure of serving as their executive director. I left there and was appointed to work for Governor Pritzker, and now work for the Food Depository. What we're doing at the Food Depository, people know the Food Depository because they provide food to over 850 pantries, soup kitchens, and shelters across the Chicagoland area. But what they don't know about the Food Depository is we also do benefit enrollment. We enroll and help people enroll in SNAP because we know SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or what we've all called food stamps for a long time, has been the most successful tool at helping Americans reduce hunger. So we help people enroll, we help people with navigate their questions. And then also I run the policy advocacy government affairs shop. We go down to Springfield, we go to DC, we advocate for policies that can help to reduce hunger. And we also fight against things that will increase hunger. So right now, the big beautiful bill and the changes that were made to SNAP, we went down to DC and advocated that they did not pass it. And we're also going to Springfield and advocating to the state that as they implement the changes from the bill, as harmful as they may be, we want the state to do it in the least harmful way possible. So that we have been advocating with our local officials to support the changes and support our people so that we don't have so much harm, because we will likely see about 500,000 people to lose their benefits as early as March 1st.
Yes, yes. This is what has people in of panic. And one of the things that we experienced was people realizing that they really didn't have a backup plan and they didn't know anything about what was available. Many of these pantries that are available, they didn't know. And so the idea of not being able to go to the grocery store and your link card doesn't work, that sent people into a major panic. And so in panic, you get paralyzed, just not recognizing that you have the power to do something. And there are programs that exist, such as the farm programs, the food pantries. Food is growing. We just need to have systems to get it to people. And this is one of the things that we want to address today so that we can get better connected and we can make sure people who are suffering from lack of food, lack of sufficient food, can get fed without a lot of red tape. That's why it's critical for us to be connected and to know what systems exist. Now, of course, we often hear about urban farm programs, but how connected are they to the food pantries? And tell us, Danielle, where do the food pantries where do they get the food? I assume they purchase it. Is there a regular contract that certain farms have with these pantries? How does
I
that
mean,
work?
so I'm learning all of this because I just started the Food Depository in March, but the food bank is actually that's a system nationally, that there's a food bank. The food bank goes out and sources and brings in all the food into one big warehouse. They then distribute that food to all the different pantries. So most pantries in the Cook County area get their food from us, Chicago's food bank, the Greater Chicago Food Depository. We get our food from different ways. We purchase food. And because it's a food bank, which is a creative model, the food bank is big enough to be able to purchase in bulk, and we can get it for a much cheaper price. We purchase a part of our food. We get USDA commodities or food from USDA, and then we get donated food. We work with grocery stores to get some of their food as well. So those are kind of our three places. We purchase food creatively and locally. So Growing Home, the farm where I used to work, the Food Depository actually began buying produce from that program. So it's not just a purchase from a local farmer, but you're also purchasing from a local farmer that also helps to provide workforce development. And it's in Englewood. So you are investing your dollars in community when you buy from local farms, and from a place like Growing Home that goes even further, because with that purchase, you're also creating jobs and helping people get ready for jobs. So we now have 20 farms. Growing Home was the first, but now we have 20 farms that the Food Depository works with, and we grow locally. Also at a state level, the state of Illinois put in their budget, I think, about $5 million for local purchasing for food banks. So we have 10 food banks across the state. The state of Illinois gave us $5 million collectively to use in local farms to try to promote the use of, and I think we should push the state to put more money into that line item so we can support more local farms. So that's where the food comes from. Most food banks charge pantries for food, usually a nominal amount, like 10 cents or 7 cents a pound. But they do that so that they have money to operate the food bank itself. But the Food Depository during COVID decided to get rid of that. So we don't charge people anything. If you run a pantry, you literally go on our site and you basically order your menu of things you want, and then we deliver the food. Also, a lot of other food banks across the country have people come and pick up food. The Food Depository actually takes trucks out and we deliver to all the pantries. I would say 70% of our pantries are small churches. So they don't always have the capacity to, number one, purchase the food, and then number two, be able to come and get the food. So the Food Depository takes on the cost for all those things. And I think, the food bank of the future, we could even get to a place where we could deliver food right to your door. I think that would just be a blessing, because
that is the system we need to create.
Yeah. Absolutely. And the Food Depository also has a kitchen, a high production kitchen. So we're not only giving out, vegetables, fruit, beans, rice, those kinds of things, but we also have prepared meals that we're giving out. We do about 3,000 meals a day. And right now this just new, but we've only started with seniors in connection with, or in partnership with, Age Options. So we're going to seniors' homes and delivering these meals. But I will say, a vision I have in my head, I'm new, but I already have visions, right? I really believe it will be powerful is if we could get those prepared meals in every pantry, or even have the ability to deliver beyond seniors, just to people who need it. We just started something with the city colleges where we're doing meals in all the city colleges, because you imagine people who are going to city colleges often have families, jobs, and we have pantries there, but they might also just need to grab a meal for their family to go home with. So that's another thing we're doing, trying to expand the meals as well.
Well, I think that's powerful. And as we speak, of course, the ideas come that we have the solution within us for this whole food apparent shortage, but there really isn't a shortage. There just needs to be a system in place to distribute what we have. So we're going to take a quick break and come back and introduce you to an urban farmer, Stephon Hamer, who is a farmer living in Englewood and is working with a number of community organizations, and can tell us a bit about how we can begin to change our mindset about how we can best use the ground we're already living on and produce food for us to eat. So we'll be right back after this quick break. And we want you to stick and stay. Don't stray away. We've got a few comments from the audience, and we'll bring those up. And you can give us a call, 727-731-5192, because we do want to hear from you. Right now, we're going to greet our global audience joining us from all around the world. We'll be right back, so stay with us.
We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Zdravstvucie in Germany, Guten Tag in Poland, Dzień dobry in France, Bonjour in Spain, Hola in Italy, Ciao in Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan in Ghana, Akwaba in Nigeria, Peleo in South Africa, Sawubona in Senegal, Nangadef in Kenya, Jambo in Israel, Shalom in Pakistan, Afghanistan, Palestine, and Saudi Arabia. Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. Join us live on the on-air radio network called 727-731-5192. We want to talk to you.
Yes, we do want to talk to you, and we want you to talk to us too, because we need to talk to each other and work out a system. Now, I can hear a lot of you saying, okay, that sounds great, farming, all this stuff. I live on the 20th floor in an apartment building. How's that going to help me? So before we get to the growing food on the ground, let's talk about some technology that allows you to grow food in your apartment. So our own Monday Morning Mindfulness host, Zelda, speaks to you today about how you can use some of this current technology to grow food in your apartment building. So, Zelda, thanks for joining us today. Tell us about the tower garden and how that works.
Before I get to the tower garden, let me say hi to Danielle Perry. I am a volunteer at the Chicago Food Depository, and I know all about the policy and all that good stuff because I've been a volunteer at EAA Chicago. They've been coming to there for decades, and they help us feed the homeless because was it the 80s or 90s? I don't even remember. When I first started there, it was a hole in the wall, and the owner, John Herman, is from Romania. And he said that if he would be allowed to do the work that God had designed for him to do, and that's to help come and feed the hungry, he would do just that. Spoke no English, had no money, but 35 years later, he's still there, still making a difference. And as a result of that, we have become advocates of feeding the unhoused. We say homeless, but we've got to get that new thought pattern of unhoused. So excuse me if I say that a couple of times because I'm still working on that. Also, it after the pantry, we serve like a couple of hundred people every week, and the numbers are constantly growing and growing and growing. It doesn't get any smaller. So and then after we feed the people, I have seniors that I have to deliver food to. So because there are people who cannot get out to get food and have no way of getting it. And I thought that I was crazy as a child for doing this because my mom had me feeding people and I didn't know anything about these people. I'm like, is this woman crazy? This your mama, girl. Get over it, okay? So I can't see myself doing that now, and I'm very glad of that experience as a child. So I just want to say that even though we may not have space on the ground because I live in an apartment, I want to show you what I've done, and that is the grow tower, because the grow tower has allowed me to grow greens and all kind of good things. So if we can start this, Naima, is that cool?
Yes, you can go ahead. I think you have to hit the start. Yeah.
And so they can see exactly what a grow tower looks like. As soon as I can find the button, there it is, and turn the volume up. There we go.
You're not growing your own food. Do you really know what you're eating?
As you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, there are my seedlings, and they're getting light, and they're growing. And this is my tower garden, as usual. And as you can see, the water is coming down right in there, and as soon as the other seedlings grow, they'll be able to get daily water too. So now I don't have to be concerned with the outdoor garden because I have an indoor garden. And the seedlings are growing, and this is the lights because there's no sun outside today.
And there's there's often no light, and that's what those lights are for. And you can have them on. They're supposed to be on 8 hours a night, so like overnight or 8 hours during the day, either one. But that is for the tower garden. But I do want to show you that even if you don't have a tower garden, I'm going to pull up my blog, Naima, and you can pull that up where they can still. Oops, sorry about that. They can still get some ideas. There it is, right there, on how to move forward, because these photos are in the window sill.
So
So
if you have a window,
if
you
you
can
got a window,
get enough light to grow food in pots.
yes, in pots and pans and glass jars. You remember those old mason jars as kids?
Yes.
Yeah, you see, those are plastic pots, but that's okay. They're growing, and that's what's important. So they can go to my blog, which is zeldaspeaks.wordpress.com, and that information is there.
Yes. Well, we definitely want to encourage people to utilize everything they have. You should be growing food no matter where you live. You should have something that you grow that you can eat. It doesn't make sense to be this fearful when we have sunlight for free. And like you say, we got all kind of containers, throw some dirt in there, some seeds, put it in the window, get a tower garden, whatever it is that would empower you. Grow something that you can eat.
And last comment before I have to go, Naima, we put a lot of focus on eating. If we put a little bit more focus on fasting, like
Ooh.
intermittent fasting, eat one meal a day and eat only at noon, you will see how it makes a difference in the quality of your life. Because, apologize for that, they don't know that I'm live on the air, so I'll have to call them back. With intermittent fasting, it gives your body a chance to not only wake up in the morning, but to heal from the inside out, because we're in America, and everything we eat in America is not at our best interest. As a matter of fact, most of what we eat is not for our best interest. So it would really help us develop a mindset that you don't need 3 meals a day. You don't even need 2 meals a day. But if you eat only fruits and vegetables, you might eat all day. Mm.
Mm,
Ah,
and
yeah.
your blog again is zeldaspeaks.wordpress.com.
.com, right. Yep.
Okay, so yes, there we are right there. Get that information. Learn how to be self-sufficient. That's the mindset we want to change. And like you said, even the eating habits, the fasting, the growing fruits and vegetables. A lot of the things that we eat in the supermarkets, GMOs, genetically modified organisms, they're not necessarily the best health for us. And if we grow it ourselves, of course, we know what we put in it, and we can make sure it's healthy. So we've got a few
Feel
comments.
better. Eat. Want to feel better? Eat less. That's what I'm learning.
Yes. And this is really an opportunity for us to begin to change some habits. This really is a benefit for us, this whole situation. And 501c3, my org, yay, one of our wonderful hosts, fantastic. And she says, this is why these forums are important. I did not know that the Greater Chicago Food Depository help people enroll in SNAP. Makes sense. Yes.
Yeah. We're doing it in person now too. You can actually come to our food bank Tuesday through Thursday while we're open. If we're open, you can get an appointment, or you could just walk right in. Never done that before, but that's what we need to do, is what we're being called to do in this moment. So it's not just also to enroll, but because of the big beautiful bill and the changes to work requirements, we're also going to be helping people figure out how to prove that they're working and turning in their documentations around work as well. So we'll be helping you navigate your SNAP benefits as well. And we'll be going out in the community. So if you have a community event you're doing and you want an enroller to show up, if you have a place where they could sit in your nonprofit for a day or a couple hours, give us reach out to us on our website. You can email me, dperry@gcfd.org. Just reach out, because we need to get them in community. They will also be at every city college every day. We're going to start having people at the city colleges so that our students can be enrolled, and also community could come in and be enrolled. So we have to be present in our community and show up and help in this moment, not just to enroll, but also to help manage cases. So yes, we do that. And apparently the Food Depository has done that for a long time. I'm new. I didn't know.
Yes. Well, it like you said, it makes sense. We have such wonderful hosts that provide information. So we want you to tune in 7 days a week to the Female Solution. Definitely tune in tomorrow evening, 7 p.m., as well as tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. We've got some hosts that really supply some fantastic information on how you can empower yourself. So thank you so much for that comment. And then we also have a comment from another one of our viewers. Sanaya Ray says, "We live, keep up the amazing work." And of course, we have our sister saying, "You are speaking the truth now, Zelda. Fasting is the key." That is so true. One of the things that we must do is change the way we eat and our relationship with food, so that it is life-sustaining and life-producing, as opposed to something we overindulge in and then eat the wrong kinds of food. So we're going to take one more break and come back and talk about that growing food in the ground process that all of us can do if we just knew how. And so we'll be right back with Stephon Hamer giving us some tips on how you can turn that backyard lawn, that front yard lawn that isn't feeding anybody because you don't have a cow, and turn it into some space that can feed your family. So we will be right back after this quick break, and we invite you to stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be right back. And thank you so much, Zelda. We appreciate you, and we want to make sure that people keep in touch so they can know how to do what you do.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Great show, everybody.
Yes, absolutely. So we'll be right back. So stay with us. Yes. Get ready for the upcoming Chicago Book Fair. It's going to be coming up this Black History Month celebration. So we'll be hearing more about that. Our Tuesday host of Gathering of the Griots, and that is none other than Asada. And of course, again, every day of the week, something fantastic. Tonight, join us for another exciting host. I'm at Africa's House. Got to tune on in 7 p.m. And then tomorrow, 7 a.m. We want you to tune in. And of course, we're going to show a bit about our lineup of hosts who are bringing you powerful information every day. Thursday evening, our Matter of fact, our third host tuned in with her 501c3, Bridget Scarborough. Got to tune in to her show tomorrow evening and learn more about how you can operate a nonprofit, which you may want to do if you're going to operate a farm, or you may want to do it for profit. Just depends on how you want to structure it. But let's talk about, how do we create an urban farm? Stephon, take it away. Give us your background on how you got into urban food growing there in the Englewood community.
Yes, well, thank you, Dr. Naima, for having me. My journey in urban ag honestly started when I returned back home to take care of my grandmother. I was her caregiver for about 7 years. And I like to say that taking care of her also meant taking care of her garden. We moved to Englewood in 2003, and she, through the Dollar Lot program, was able to acquire some land that she then planted muscadine grapes on. We have a pear tree, a black walnut tree, apple tree, magnolia tree, pine tree. So it's a really abundant green space that I'm grateful to have become the steward of. So like I said, taking care of her meant taking care of the garden, and she would have me out there picking the grapes, picking the pears, trying to figure out how to crack open the walnuts. So from there, I then got involved with a lot of community organizations such as Grow Greater Englewood, where I'm now a program steward. So I support a lot of our food access initiatives. I'm an urban farmer, land steward, and a local food aggregator. We have a farmers market that takes place throughout the summer. We have our last farmers market that's happening this Saturday. We are aggregating a lot of food. Danielle mentioned Growing Home. They're one of our main local food vendors that we purchase from, so that we're able to get local food to the community. So for me, I think too, in our conversation last night, I love when Danielle mentioned how like we are already agricultural experts. So my background is in youth development and film production, but again, just caring for my grandmother and caring for the land is, I like to think like an Afro-Indigenous practice of caregiving, and also just, stewarding the land. Englewood is a really special place. There's a lot of vacant, empty land here, which I think presents an opportunity for urban agriculture to take place.
Yes, I would say so. And I think one of the things that we see when you walk through or drive through the neighborhood, a lot of vacant land. And a few years ago, we started a program. It was during the pandemic, and called it Pandemic Farms, which stands for Producing Agricultural Nourishment, Developing Economies, Making Independent Communities.
Mm-hmm.
Our vision is to take every piece of land and use it for growing food. It doesn't make sense to have land just sitting there growing things that, and sometimes the things that are growing there are nutritional.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they're medicinal. We need to learn more about what Mother Earth gives us for absolutely free that can help heal our bodies. But it doesn't make sense for us to poison land by throwing waste on it, and then it can't be used. Now, you mentioned some things about before we talked about the process of testing the soil, making sure that it is usable.
Mm-hmm.
Is it something that can be done easily? Does it cost a lot, or is it something people can do at home so that you can tell whether or not your soil has lead in it, or if you need to do some other things to prepare it?
Absolutely. First, I would say that because we're in the city or urban environments, the vacant land at some point used to probably be a home or something, a factory, a warehouse. We're not, you have to do some research to see what was there before. And the city is doing a great job in testing the soil if you're interested in turning the space into an urban farm, or even using for urban agriculture. But a way to circumvent doing any soil testing, if you don't have the resources to do so, is a permaculture method, which is like sheet mulching, where you build the ground up. and that is a technique that we do in helping develop people's backyard gardens. In Englewood, currently, I know that there's over 100 backyard gardens of all, from a couple of square feet to folks that have 2 or 3 empty lots that they're looking to cultivate. So with sheet mulching, you're using like cardboard and wood chips, and a lot of the tree cutting companies, they are looking to dump wood chips for free. Like they're looking to dump their wood chips out. So if you have a space, you're able to get wood chips for free because the city charges them to dump the wood chips. So you have if you have a little bit of grass, you were mentioning earlier, are you growing cows, or do you have cows that are eating your grass? Get rid of your grass as much as you can, regardless of how much space you have. I know people with a couple of square feet that are growing an abundant amount of food. So sheet mulching is a practice that you build the ground up, so it creates a barrier between what you're growing and whatever contaminants that may exist below ground. And that is a way to grow food or implement a permaculture Afro-Indigenous practice rather than going directly into the soil that you may not know was there before. Or you can also plant corn, and there's other crops you can grow to really remediate the soil that you have. So, for instance, I have some sunflowers growing in my parkway in front of my home, and for me, that's to just kind of like aerate the soil. The trees some are growing funky, some are growing weird, but I have sunflowers in my parkway in front of my home to really help aerate the soil, and to also just be a little attraction as kids are walking to school every day, where they can like see something growing and engage with food in a different way.
One of the things you mentioned, when you're growing food and it's growing naturally, it doesn't always look as perfectly shaped as we get in the supermarket. And sometimes people don't know how food looks if it's not been, treated and designed in a certain way, or when you have your pear tree and so forth, some might be lopsided, whereas they might not be in the store. But how should people change the way they view what food looks like in order to accept what grows naturally and not expect everything to be perfectly shaped and colored the way it is in the supermarket?
It's a process. I was saving for myself. It was a learning curve to understand that things are not perfectly shaped as we're getting it from our grocery stores. Um, so at our farmers market, we have a local table, and then we also have like a conventional, if you will, table that we're buying from bigger distributors, where things are like all perfectly round and the same shape and the same color. Um, and again, it's just a learning curve, I think, that people have to engage in. I think with growing our own food is helping us heal our relationship to the food that we are consuming. And the photo that you have pulled up is my last harvest that I did a couple of days ago, actually, of the tomatoes and peppers and the squash that I had growing. And you can see that there's a range of sizes of tomatoes. And I think once people are engaging with the food a little bit more, they'll learn that things are not perfect. My pear tree, as you mentioned, I had some folks come over and pick some pears, and they are really expecting it to be like fresh off the stand, and they can just like eat it immediately. But you may need to take it home and let it sit in a brown paper bag for a couple of days.
So what does that do with it sitting in a brown paper bag? Does it help it ripen or something like that?
It helps it ripen a little quicker, if you will, if you want, to get your, you just want to eat it. So it's a learning curve for everyone, depending on where they're at in their food journey, their growing journey. That things are not perfect, and it also, for me, it adds more character and life to the food that you're eating. It's just to know that it's not all the same.
Yes, I think so. Well, we're going to take one last break. And when we come back, I want to take a look at the systems we can create between the urban farmers, the food pantries, and the distribution to families. We have systems like, Uber Eats and all these other things that have been created to empower the individual to participate in the economy. Can we pull together systems where we're growing and distributing food, and can we do it in a way that empowers the people so that they never have to fear whether or not a government program is going to allow them to eat? So we'll be right back. You stick and stay. Don't stray away. And you can give us a call, 727-731-5192, because we do want to hear from you. You can write in your comments. We'll certainly share them with our viewing audience. And your thoughts matter. We'll be right back. So stay with us.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
Yes, we want to connect with all of you and give you an opportunity to share what you have. One of the most important things that I'm hearing in this conversation is that we have systems in place that if we just coordinate, we actually can rekindle some of the skills that we had in providing our own food. And we can use some of the systems that currently exist, even in terms of exchanging and creating an economy that works. Now, one of the things that you mentioned, Danielle, was about the SNAP program. And, we were thinking, is there a way that, say, an independent farmer could get paid by a person of low income if they were on SNAP, whenever, however that program may be reinstituted. But is that a possibility, or
Yes, it already exists. Even when I was at Growing Home, we sold produce in the Englewood community for half the price. And if you had SNAP, you got it for half of that. So you're getting the organic produce for a quarter of the price. And that's true at farmers markets across the city and honestly the country. It's like a double bucks program. You're able to get more for your dollar if you use your SNAP benefit at a farmer's market. And that's a USDA strategy to try to get people to buy produce from local farmers.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of farmers are enrolled in that program, which is why I wish farmers would stand up for SNAP a little bit more, because it's impacting their bottom line just as much as it impacts the grocer. In the state of Illinois alone, we see $4.7 billion come into our state a year with SNAP. So when that goes away, when 500,000 people could lose their benefits on March 1st, what do you think happens to the small farmer who goes to these markets and gets those SNAP dollars? What do you think happens to the grocery store? What do you think even happens to the corner store where 20-30% of their business is SNAP? They have to let people go. They have to increase their prices, and they will have to close. And this is a bigger impact in our economy than people realize.
Yeah, I like to add to that. We do accept SNAP at our farmers market. We do the link match program, and it allows, to your point, Daniel, it allows folks to just double, their buying power as well.
Now, I have a question because I'm involved with people who are using Bitcoin, and that is becoming a means of exchange, for those who have Bitcoin and are working with merchants who accept Bitcoin. They're able to do business. Is that a possibility in terms of, digital currency, being able to buy food, being able to have that particular form of currency honored in exchange for food? What would need to happen in order for that to work, if that were to be presented as an option?
Danielle scratching her chin.
Is it just a matter of agreeing, okay, we're going to use this, and we're going to honor this. I give you this in exchange for a bag of tomatoes, whatever the case may be. I mean, currency basically is whatever people agree it is.
Yeah, that is true. I'm not too familiar with Bitcoin or even cryptocurrency. But I mentioned just like creating or returning back to like a gift exchange or just like bartering, trading. I have neighbors that they can come pick pears, and then a couple of days later I have a pear cobbler on my front porch, or I allow folks to come get black walnuts, and then I may have a black walnut tincture ready for me. So I think cryptocurrency and aside, that gift exchange, gift currency, trading, bartering is something that we must return to in order to create more sustainable systems in our communities. There's the Englewood Food Sovereignty Network that works with local chefs, that works with the churches, that works with local businesses to really kind of close the loop on the food chain in the community. Similar to how our dollars are leaving the community, our food is also leaving the community as well. So we can keep that that flow, that a little more tight knit, that it supports everyone, the farmer, the business owner, the chef, the restaurant, the grocery store as well.
Yes. And you mentioned, Danielle, about how removing SNAP, which a lot of people buy their groceries with, is going to have a chain reaction, because so many dollars are not going to then be circulated at the local grocery stores, at the restaurants, or wherever that form of currency is taken. Those people are going to suffer financially, and it's going to have a domino effect.
Absolutely. I think too, to your point, on November 1st, if the government is still shut down, everybody who has SNAP in this country will have $0 on their card. The program will end. The government is shut down. There is not enough money to continue the program past this month. And on November 1st, that's millions of people, somewhere in the 40 millions. There's not enough food at the pantry to make up for that. We are going to have to get creative. If that happens on November 1st, that's in days. I'm looking at my calendar. It's the 22nd. Days. We have days to figure it out. And so I loved when Stephon was talking about, you can come to his house and get pears and then make the cobbler. I do believe that in a few days, if the government is shut down and everybody loses SNAP, we are going to have to get creative. We should just generally, but we will have to get creative, because the pantry can't make up for the SNAP program. For every meal that we provide in a shelter, soup kitchen, or pantry, SNAP provides 9. For every one meal we can provide, SNAP provides 9. There is no way we can make up for this in a pantry. I don't care how much food they give us. So we are going to have to come together as a collective and do something different, do something like never before, if the government shut down. And then also, whether they shut down or not, because of the big, beautiful bill, hundreds of thousands of people just in the state of Illinois will likely lose their benefits on March 1st. I think we are going to have to do something as a community to think about how we feed these people. And it's not going to be, I mean, and we all know the connection between people going hungry and their livelihood, their health care, our crime, all the things. It's connected to so many things. So I think that you made such a good point about how creative and how indigenous being resourceful is to who we are. I just think that this is the moment. This is a time for us to come together.
Yeah, something that I recently found out with SNAP though is that you are able to buy fruit trees and anything that you can grow food that produces food. So seeds and fruit trees. So if you still have a couple of dollars on your EBT card, maybe go buy a fruit tree, plant it. The best time to plant a tree is today or 20 years ago. So buy a tree and plant it.
So
I love that.
So now with that thought, then, are there some things people can be doing to the ground right now to prepare it so that they're ready to grow things in the spring? I mean, I'm saving things for composting and that sort of thing, organic materials to add to the soil. Are there things that, say, people wanted to turn a portion of their yard into a place where they were growing food? What should they be doing to either treat the soil or, as you mentioned, wood chips, things you can create a foundation for food that maybe gives a layer between soil that may or may not be suitable. What could they be doing now to prepare?
My advice would be to, get rid of the grass as best as possible, throw some cardboard down, get some organic untreated wood chips to just throw on your grass that adds more nitrogen to the soil. Cover it up over the winter with like some burlap or tarp to kind of keep the soil underneath moist and that the snow isn't pulling all of the nutrients out. Cover your ground, and then come springtime, you'll have some soil that you're able to plant in.
Now, one thing that I read about and was told is that leaves, as they decay, actually also return nutrients to the soil.
Absolutely.
So it's better not to rake your leaves. Let them go through the natural process so that they can help fertilize the soil. Is that correct?
That is very true. The leaves are a natural mulch. Don't rake your leaves. Leave your leaves on your grass or on your land that you have. Or compile it all, push it into a pile, and just let it decompose.
Now, I understand that growing grass year after year after year takes nitrogen from the soil. That's one of the things that happens. So you have to replace the nitrogen with organic materials. And that's why I'm using compost, and which is any organic material like your banana peels and
yeah, the city also has a composting program as well. They just delivered a composting bin to my front porch a few days ago. Look online, go to the Chicago Composting Program if you can find that in your ward, or reach out to your alderman's office and they'll get you into the right direction to receive the compost bin. You can set that up and start to build up your own compost and organic matter.
Yes, yeah, I think it. Like I said, everybody should be growing something. Now, the question is, can we put together a system where people are growing food and then people who are part of these various delivery systems, Uber Eats and that sort of thing? Can we put together a delivery system where people grow the food, they can get it to people who can deliver the food, everybody gets paid a little something, and even people who need to create an income, can they work the land for the people who got the land to help grow the food, almost like sharecropping? But I don't want it to sound bad, but is there a way people can, like you have had people do, work in exchange for food, or work in exchange for some kind of credits that they can
I would like to just call out like Getting Grown Collective, which is a nonprofit here in Englewood also that started during the pandemic, and they have delivered thousands of meals since the pandemic up until this day, where they are resourcing, collecting food, aggregating food from local farms, working with local chefs to create and to build out meal prep systems and folks for people to get that delivered to their door, particularly seniors. I would say that, you know, the systems, like we are the system, that needs to, be enacted and to do the thing. I like to say that growing food just fundamentally changes how we interact with one another.
Yeah.
Because you're going to always have a little bit more than you actually need. And I think also returning or becoming more familiar with homesteading practices and preserving methods that need to return back to our families and our communities.
Yes.
Um,
Well, of course, time flies when you're having fun. I know, Danielle, you've got to scoot. Before you run, please tell us how people can get in touch with the Greater Food Depository.
Yes, chicagosfoodbank.com. Email us there. You can email me there. Just reach out or give us a call or come in person and visit us. And if you need to update your information for SNAP, you can work with one of our enrollers, or you can call the Illinois Department of Human Services at 1-800-843-6154. You have to update as soon as possible because they will start counting your work starting December 1st. Thank you for having me. I truly appreciate you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate all that you have shared, and thank you for giving us some hope, because the power is in our hands. And thank all of you all for joining us today on the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. Join us 7 days a week. Of course, tonight, come on back for Mama Africa's House, and come on back tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. We're so excited to be bringing you information that you can use and empower yourself. And until next time, we want you to continue to shine your light. We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, Dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, Ngiyabonga. Senegal, Jaref. Kenya, Asante. Israel, Toda. Pakistan, Shukriya. Afghanistan, Tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings. And we want you to be empowered. So we're going to make sure that you have the information that you need. So if you are concerned, we want you to visit this website that gives you an opportunity to address the issue of your SNAP benefits. And that information is abe.illinois.gov. You have a right to have a government that looks out for your interests. So go to the website. And if you've got land, get it prepared so that you can grow your own food. I'm Naima Latif. See you again next week.